heart. You don't know how much you give to me, baby. You keep making me learn, yeah. You're like a painting hanging on my every wall. Baby, you save me, you give me all and a little more. I can't live without you. Yeah. I can't live without you.
Hey, good afternoon, you guys, and welcome back to Realty Rides. Today we're going to be reviewing and driving our 1983 911Sc Super Carrera. What is so special about this car? What's so cool about it? Why is it so reliable? And why is it so loved now in this day and age of Porsche ownership? We'll find out here in just a few. So this is a 1983 911Sc Super Carrera. This happens to be the convertible top model called the Cabriolet. They made these cars from 1978 through 1983, and they came in three different versions. The Coupe, which was of course the hardtop with the sunroof, and they came up with the Targa, which is basically this car except without the convertible top, and it has a bar that was right over here that had a top in the middle that you can lift off, and then of course the Cabriolet, which is what you see here. So here we are inside the beautiful 1983 911Sc Super Carrera. So if you're familiar with Porsches, over the last 50 years, the design really hasn't changed. You still got the 5-gauge cluster with the big tachometer right there in the middle. You still have the left-hand ignition switch here, which was designed, I think, for the Le Mans racers. When they ran across the field to get to their car, they can shift with the right hand and turn the engine on with the left and get going really quickly. You're familiar, weird little pedals here, the clutch pedals that are installed from the bottom instead of hinged on the top, which a lot of people have a hard time getting used to. Your standard instrument cluster here, your fan, your heater. Air conditioning doesn't really work all that well. It's there for a functional reason, but it doesn't really work. It's like a mouse blowing on you with asthma. It doesn't really work. A lot of people remove the air conditioning unit out to save weight. But otherwise, it's your standard 911, built really well. This happens to be the convertible top, so you got two latches here that lift the top up. Very easy to operate. It's manual. But other than that, it has sports seats, very comfortable. Great ergonomics. You can see views. Your view is not impaired by anything. It's just one of those type of automobiles that has really served the test of time. And the body style for the older cars like the 911Sc and the early models, and even through the 964 and 993 models, they're pretty much all still the same. The newer models are a little bit different, but it still has that familiar 911 shape. You open up the engine lid with this little latch here that's inside the door sill, and then you go to the back. Like all 911s, the engine's in the back, and this happens to be the 3.0 liter flat 6 Boxster motor. It generates about just under a shy of 200 horsepower. The original ones that came out in 78, I think, at 175 horsepower. I'll give you guys the specs here up there in the text so you can see the accurate numbers. But it's a robust motor. It's 6 cylinders and air-cooled and oil-cooled. It's a relatively powerful motor for its time. It's not a fast car. It'll go about 130-ish, 135, 140 miles per hour. Here's the air conditioning unit that I'm probably going to replace or remove because it's just extra weight. That really doesn't need to be there because, again, the air conditioning doesn't work so well. This is the fan that cools the engine in addition to the oil. This car does have an oil cooler in the front with oil lines that go to the right side of the car into the oil tank. So this engine was first developed in 1964 for the 901, and I think that produced somewhere in the neighborhood of 125 horsepower. I think if I'm not mistaken, that was a 2.0 liter. and then eventually went up to 2.7 liters, and then 3.0, which is this car here. The 2.7 liter was, of course, the famous engine that the 73 RS, Carrera RS had. And then the 3 liter, 3.2, and I don't know if the 993 had a 3.4. I have to take a look. I'll give you that information in the text as well. Interesting tidbit of information about this engine. Back in the early 80s, Mooney Aircraft developed an engine along with Porsche based on the 3.2 liter 911 engine. That's very similar to this engine here. And they put that in their PFM 3200 aircraft. And another little side note is too, a lot of general aviation aircraft use horizontally opposed boxer motors for their 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder general aviation small aircraft, single engine planes. Of course, all 911s have the trunk in the front, which of course is the frunk. This is the amount of space that's available. It's actually a pretty good amount of space. There's a spare tire underneath this cover here. The battery is located right here. In the earlier models, there were 2 batteries, one on each side of the car, and they were prone to corrosion and rusting. But since this car is galvanized, I have no rust, no corrosion. Also, we keep really good. I kind of take really good care of the car to make sure nothing happens. Underneath this container here is a circuit breaker box, little circuit breakers for the car. The reservoir for the windshield wipers is right there. And then the one thing that's really kind of a problem with these earlier 911s is these little shock absorbers that hold their front trunk open. Renlist, I think it's Renlist. Renlist has a new type of device that locks in place, and I'm going to go ahead and replace those because these are now worn out, and that's why I have this little aluminum stick here holding the trunk open. One of the ways you can differentiate the 83 911C models versus the 3.2 liter that came in 1984 are by the fog lamps on the bottom. In the 911Scs, the fog lamps are these little rectangular open ones, and the ones on the 3.2 liter and later models were embedded in the actual front fender or the valance of the car. And as you can see, the G bodies all had the 5 mile per hour bumper that was imposed in after 1973, and they made them, of course, the short hood as opposed to the long hoods that were there from the 60s through 1973. But Porsche did a really good job incorporating the 5 mile per hour bumper on the back and on the front. I think it actually looks pretty good. Now, there was a time when nobody liked them, but you know what? Things grow on people, and that's why these cars are so valuable now. And of course, these are original Fuchs wheels that came standard with this car. This one is the optional 7 and 8 inch, and 8 inch in the back and 7 in the front. These are 16-inch wheels, and they were 16-inch all the way through the 3.2 liter, and then they had an optional wheel, which was a 17-inch wheel, which I'll show you here in another video. The comparison between the two. 16-inch wheel is nice. The 17-inch actually fills the fender up a little bit better. It kind of gives it a little bit more of a sculpted look. Now that we got some facts and figures on this car, what's it like to drive? Well, let's take a little drive down Humphrey Road here on Whidbey Island and see what this car is all about, and the sounds and the smells, and kind of give you guys a little taste of what it's like to have or behind the wheel of a 911Sc. Porsche 911s, you know you're going to be very comfortable and familiar with the setup. Like I said before, it's got the familiar 5 dials. This particular car has the 915 915 gearbox, which if you don't know how to shift it, can be a little clunky, but you get used to it after a while, and it's actually a very good gearbox. Not as good as the G50, of course, but it's good enough. And well, it's a warm day today. I can turn on the air conditioning, but like I said, it's like a mouse with asthma blowing on you. It's not going to be exactly the coolest car in the world, but it'll do. And here we are, driving down Humphrey Road here at Whidbey Island. Nice summer afternoon. Got a little bit of rain going on back there. It's the wind noise from the vertical top. But it's like any other 911. You know, the 911Sc is a fabulous automobile. From 1978 to 1983, they built this car, again, to came in 3 variants, the Coupe, the Targa, and of course this one is the Cabriolet, which they only made for 1 year, which was 1983.
Cada día doy las gracias a esta vida. Cada día me nace nueva melodía. Yo sabía que algún día llegaría. Qué alegría pasar el tiempo a tu lado. Qué alegría por haberte encontrado. Soy feliz.
And one more thing I should mention about this car, it's incredibly practical. It can carry 3 people, 2 small adults in the back or small children in the back, but it can carry groceries, luggage, stuff in the front, stuff in the back wheel panel here. It has the cool factor of a nice sports car. It sounds great. It handles really well. It's fast to a point, because back in the day it was quick, but now with 200 horsepower, nowadays 200 horsepower is nothing. But it's not always about speed. It's the way the car feels, makes you feel when you're driving it. And you feel like you're going a lot faster because of the way it sounds, feels, smells, and just overall the ambiance of the automobile. So I can't say enough about a 911. I can't say enough about a 911Sc. Again, if you're going to buy a car like this, make sure you do a proper PPI. Make sure you check for rust, corrosion, check for mechanical history, and just buy the best car you can for the best possible price. So I can tell you. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching Realty Rides. I always enjoy doing these videos for you guys. I'm going to have more content coming up here soon. So thanks again for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Oh, July 4th is coming up next week. Happy 4th of July, you guys. And then we'll see you guys on the next ride. Okay? Thanks. Bye.
Cada día doy las gracias a esta vida. Cada